Morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do our January the 7th spiritual principle a day in a meditation. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. The title of that meditation is Faith in the Program and Each Other. Faith is what keeps us doing the footwork, even when we can't see the reason. That comes from the Living Clean book, chapter 1, Growing Pains. Many of us were fine with living a philosophy of act now, ask questions later in our addiction. We did what we had to do, the footwork of using, perhaps, and had a certain degree of faith within the chaos of that lifestyle. But we don't necessarily bring those bold tactics into early recovery. Why then is it so difficult for many of us to have faith and get on board with NA from day one? Maybe it's that we didn't know what we wanted. We thought we'd found what we wanted in drugs, but total abstinence seemed unlikely and long-term recovery unfathomable. Yes, we want a better life, but who doesn't? It's suggested we go to meetings, help set up the room, read the book, call a member when we're feeling squirrely, ask someone to be our sponsor so they can take us through those unfathomable 12 steps. We also think this works for you, but what if it doesn't for me? And why do you seem so sure it will? A lot of us would say the reasons are evident. Here are a bunch of addicts who didn't use today, who set up and ran a meeting that started and ended on time. They shared their experience, strength, and hope. They griped about their day, but stayed clean anyway. They were joyful with each other, celebrating recovery milestones with gratitude. When speaking, most expressed their faith in the program and in each other. At some point, we made a decision to do the footwork without a clear picture of our destination. Why? Some of us are so desperate, we'll do anything to stop the pain. For others, it's a lightning bolt, spiritual awakening, a moment of clarity. Some of us take tiny steps or have many moments of clarity. Others find a single person to trust, and that drives our decision. Still, others cling to our rebelliousness and then find ourselves celebrating a year clean, then 5 years, then a quarter century. No matter what kicks it off, this decision is, for many of us, our first experience of faith. We hear that more will be revealed, and more is. I see abundant evidence around me that NA works. I just need a bit of faith every day to keep me willing to follow my path of recovery. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. A moment of silence now, please. Thank you, God. Grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Isn't that powerful? Talking about faith in the program and each other. The faith in each other comes in allowing the experience, strength, and hope of others. Listen to me now. Listen to me, because this is a long meditation. I want to make sure that I hone in on what I believe it actually means. Faith in the program and each other. It means allowing the experience, strength, and hope of others as they share it and demonstrate it to give us hope, right? Because we're always talking about this is about attraction and not promotion, right? So I make a decision at some point in time that I'm going to allow the seed of recovery to be planted in me. And a lot of times, as soon as we realize that we've heard something or seen something in recovery that affects us, we shut down. And we say, okay, seed, you're just going to be on the top of the soil. I'm not going to allow you to be inserted deeper into my heart, deeper into my spirit where it can actually take root. I'm not going to allow that because this looks like it's going to hurt a little bit, right? Or that it might cause some change. And I'm not really sure I want to change that much. But before you know it, it's already been planted. Let me tell you a little story about something and see if I can't bring this to life. Many of our children are at the stage where they're learning a little bit about biology. They're learning a little bit about how plants grow, what seeds can do if you just water them a little bit. And it never fails. Somewhere around fourth, fifth grade, your kids come home and they're given these seeds. And they're given a little tiny thing. It's kind of short, right? It looks like a slide, but it's not a slide, right? It's something that has a little bit of depth, maybe a centimeter or half of a centimeter to it, a little bit of depth to it. Some soft napkin or tissue, right? It just kind of looks like cotton in a sense. And the seed is supposed to be placed there in a little bit of water. And then you take a plastic cup and put it over it. So you create, in a sense, like a greenhouse. And the children watch as that seed goes from being hard to actually softening because of the moisture, cracks. Before you know it, you have a small sprout. And even that sprout, as tender as it may be, if you take really good care of it, you can transfer it to a pot, and then you can transfer it from the pot, depending on your season, into your ground outside. And the fruit coming from that seed, you can use it to nourish your family. You know, my family and I, we have grapes, we have 3 different types of apples, we have peppers, we have some tomatoes, we have different things that we grow. And I always enjoy the fruit of my garden, right? I always enjoy my vegetables and my fruit. And I really enjoy when I go grocery shopping. I don't have to spend all that money for it. But here's the point. I don't plant an apple seed thinking that I'm going to get oranges. And it really doesn't take that much for a seed to sprout, just a little bit of watering. So what's the point? When someone is sharing their experience, strength, and hope, that seed is dropped. That seed of recovery is dropped into your spirit. And the watering that takes place doesn't require a lot. All it requires is time and patience and some thought, not a lot of thought. Once you know to do better, you generally will do better. So once that seed is planted, there's some natural things that will follow, and really not a lot is required from you. I'm not going to go so far to say that you don't have a choice. You can always uproot it, always relapse, right? You can always do that if you want. Or give it some time, see what type of fruit grows from this seed of recovery, and make a decision later to put it in a pot with some soil and monitor it. In other words, work your steps, call your sponsor. You see where I'm going with this. Make meetings. And then at some other point in time, if you like what you see, you can go ahead and transplant it over into your backyard and really watch it take off. Sponsoring others, sharing, being asked to speak in places, doing service work, and the fruit that comes from that. You'll eat off of that, meaning that you'll be able to benefit from it, and even your family. That is having faith in the program and in each other. A lot of times, our faith in ourselves may not be that great. We may actually be struggling. But that's just like tonight. That's the time where you want to take a risk to some degree and open yourself up to someone that might just be working with a little bit more than you, just for that moment, just for today. This is what I call easy peasy. We're doing it one day at a time, having faith in the program and in each other, in all of us. Just to be fair, will experience the truth of this meditation in different ways. And you know what? That's quite all right too. That's quite all right. Your journey is your own journey. You know, your journey is your own journey. And like I said, you know, I've experienced some very obnoxious interactions today, but the positive ones far outweigh all of the negative ones. And all I can do, the end of this day, going into today, is pray. Pray for those that are struggling. I don't know what it's like to not know a person and think you heard them say something or you think you saw them do something, and to be so bold, to be so accusatory and not given to any kind of humility or suggest. I don't know what that must feel like in the atmosphere of recovery, to make a total behind of yourself in this atmosphere of recovery and have to deal with that. Surely I can pray for them. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm hoping that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. When the good comes, embrace it. When the negative comes, I want to say embrace it, but don't allow it to run over all of this beautiful seed receiving of recovery, planting, and growing that you've done. No one gets to take your recovery away from you. You can give it away, but no one gets to take it from you. When you encounter situations like I've encountered, put a time limit on it. Put a time, 15 minutes. Okay, I'm done with that. I want for you to have a beautiful day on purpose. Talk to you soon.